The flames sweeping into a neighborhood, homes burning to the ground. The war of words tonight, President Trump and Republican Senator Bob Corker, who now says the president is so reckless the nation could be on a path to World War III. Was it a stunt? The White House responds tonight after the vice president leaves the Colts game early. How much did this cost the taxpayers? The Las Vegas shooter tonight, what the note reveals in that hotel room, what the numbers stand for. And First Lady Melania Trump responding tonight after Ivana Trump tells our Amy Robach, I'm the first Trump wife, I'm the First Lady.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. It's great to have you with us here on a Monday night, and we begin with California burning tonight. States of emergency as the fires now turn deadly. We're watching fires outside L.A. and north of San Francisco tonight. Homes, neighborhoods, thousands of acres burning, 0% contained. Families escaping through the flames in hard-hit Santa Rosa. The fire's unstoppable all day long, homes lost to the flames. And look at this tonight. An entire neighborhood gone, street after street, just the charred frames of homes. ABC's Matt Gutman is right there tonight, where the speed of these fires still burning is of great concern tonight.
Tonight, that swarm of fires consuming Northern California towns whole. Those powerful winds propelling the flames.
We're really at the mercy of the weather right now. This wind is making a serious push, and that is out of our control.
At least 1,500 structures destroyed north of San Francisco, tens of thousands of acres incinerated. Every available firefighter battling flames up to 10 stories high. The fires only ignited late last night and exploded to over 80,000 acres in just 18 hours.
We know we have a number of injuries and possibly some fatalities, which we're still trying to get our hands around.
That jet engine sound you hear, that's that gas main that burst. You can feel the heat from here. Now, so many parts of this town have burned down that firefighters aren't even dealing with that right now.
The fire galloping through a Santa Rosa shopping center, a mobile home park, and threatening the city's hospital. Staff carefully balancing that IV, racing this gurney down the street as the hospital was evacuated and the fire roared behind them. And it was in this smoldering neighborhood that we found Ryan White. He'd ridden in on his bike, and under his arm, the only remnant of his house.
This is it? This is all that remains?
Yes, that's the house. 1312 Cashew Road.
And overnight, a mass exodus from the firestorm. Tyler Clark driving out through tunnels of fire.
Let's go.
And this blizzard of red-hot embers. And there was Alyssa O'Gorman facing that orange behemoth ahead.
This is my neighborhood. In flames.
Kat Keller's childhood home now gone.
I don't know, this is the stuff you have nightmares about, you know, your home burning down.
Our Nick Watt is in Napa.
Here in Napa, this is all that's left of the Signorello winery. I imagine this used to be the tasting room. You can see the bottles still on the shelves, flames still coming out of gas lines. As the fire moved down this valley, it took out wineries and condos as it went.
Back in Santa Rosa, evacuations are still underway. Strangers helping Jan Krager save what she can.
I'm in shock, because this is your life right here.
All right, Matt Gutman with the scene there in Northern California. Matt, our thanks to you and to Nick Watt. Meantime, outside Los Angeles tonight, there are fires there as well. Red flag warnings from one end of California to the other. Mandatory evacuations in Anaheim tonight. We watched the feed coming in late today as the flames swept through an entire neighborhood there. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez on the families who have lost everything. She's in Anaheim tonight.
Tonight in Anaheim, an all-out assault on the ground and in the air. What started as a small brush fire erupting into a 2,500-acre blaze within hours. Racing through neighborhoods, wildlife rushing to escape. Home after home here burnt to the ground. This is just one of the homes destroyed. You can see the garage, the car inside still up in flames. Firefighters here at the scene doing everything they can to keep this fire from spreading to even more homes. Residents scrambling, some with just minutes to get out.
We've just been panicking and loading our cars up.
Parents hurrying to get their children from schools, others frantically trying to spray their own homes down on their way out.
It's probably going to get worse before it gets better.
Please leave. Life is our primary focus here, and we need you to evacuate so that we can protect you.
Those flames whipped by 40-mile-per-hour gusts of the Santa Ana winds, carrying dangerous embers.
With winds like this, you get little embers and palm fronds and things like that going, and it could land anywhere and start a fire.
Massive plumes of smoke seen today at nearby Angel Stadium and hovering over Disneyland.
So let's get to Marcy Gonzalez with us live tonight from Anaheim. And Marcy, you were telling us 1,000 homes evacuated tonight, and these families did not have a lot of time.
David, it all happened very quickly. The first evacuation orders were issued within 15 minutes of when this fire was first reported. Adding to the challenge out here is just how close together these homes are. And tonight we've learned at least one firefighter has been injured. David?
Marcy Gonzalez, our thanks to you as well. It is always something to see one home burned down and the one still standing right beside it. Let's get right to Ginger, who is tracking this into the evening and into tomorrow.
And the simple answer for why this is happening, David, is wind. But let me get a little bit more into it for you. So you've got two pressure systems, a high and a low. These create a big difference in pressure over a very small area. And so that's going to make the wind even greater. We've seen gusts upwards of 70 miles per hour. The Santa Ana classic setup with that offshore flow. Air rushes over the mountainsides. It compresses and sinks. It heats up. It dries out even more. And that's why you still see red flag warnings for almost the entire state. But just to let you know, humidity not going to be helpful tomorrow. Still in the 5 to 15% range, especially in Southern California, even as winds start to release.
All right, Ginger, on the watch tonight. Thank you. There is also breaking news coming in tonight involving the Las Vegas massacre. Just moments ago, we learned that the hero security guard who showed up first on that hotel floor and was shot through that door, well, now we've learned the massacre had not even begun yet. Authorities say afterward the gunman then started to fire, and tonight what we now know about the note left behind. Here's ABC senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, with no clear motive or hard evidence of accomplices, ABC News has learned some investigators increasingly suspect Stephen Paddock had a severe mental illness.
A comprehensive picture is being drawn as to the suspect's mental state, and currently we do not believe there is one particular event in the suspect's life for us to key on.
Details now emerging about the note with numbers on it, found in Paddock's room. Detailed calculations of height and wind velocity to maximize the horrific death count.
He had written the distance, the elevation he was on, the drop of what his bullet was going to be for the crowd.
And tonight we've learned that hero security guard was shot before the massacre happened, arriving on the scene after an alarm for a door ajar went off in another room. The gunman firing 200 rounds at the guard through the door.
What we have learned is Mr. Campos was encountered by the suspect prior to his shooting to the outside world.
Paddock killing himself after shooting into the crowd for 11 minutes. That's when the police arrived.
During a critical incident, 12 minutes is a long time.
This friend who worked with him for 6 years is baffled by Paddock's final act of terror.
He was kind, and I don't know what happened to him. I don't know.
Pierre Thomas with us live tonight. And Pierre, there had also been reporting that some of the fuel tanks at the airport not far from the concert site had been hit, and we're learning more about that tonight as well.
David, the sheriff said he may have been targeting those fuel tanks and that he had personal protection in the room. The sheriff says he suspects he had an escape plan. David?
Pierre Thomas with us live in Washington. Pierre, thank you. Now to President Trump tonight. He finds himself in a war of words with Republican Senator Bob Corker. The president targeted Corker with tweets this weekend, 3 in a row. Tonight, the senator continuing to fire back, saying President Trump is so reckless that the nation could be on the path to World War III. Here's ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega tonight.
As President Trump golfed today with Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, he remained uncharacteristically quiet about his very heated, very public feud with another senior member of his own party. Tennessee Senator Bob Corker unloading, telling the New York Times President Trump is so reckless the nation could be on a path to World War III. Corker saying he would have to concern anyone who cares about our nation. And he says, quote, I know for a fact that every single day at the White House, it's a situation of trying to contain him. The attack came after a weekend war of words on Twitter. The president claimed Corker begged him for an endorsement and didn't have the guts to run. Corker, who is not seeking re-election, fired right back, saying the White House has become an adult daycare center. A powerful voice in the Senate crucial for advancing the president's agenda on tax reform and Iran. Corker was even considered a possible Secretary of State or VP pick. But how far they've fallen.
A great friend of mine, somebody respected by everybody, Senator Bob Corker.
Now Corker says the president lies on Twitter and treats the job like a reality show. And he says most Republicans in the Senate share his concerns.
And Cecilia Vega joined us live tonight from the White House. Cecilia, stunning war of words playing out between the president and Senator Corker. But what are you hearing from his fellow Republican senators tonight?
Well, David, the Senate is on recess, but we did reach out to every member of Republican leadership and many other key voices in the Senate. No one will touch this, which means, at least for now, no one is disputing Corker's claim that many Republicans agree with his concerns about this president, David.
Cecilia Vega, live at the White House. Thank you. And next tonight, the White House was asked today, was it a stunt? The vice president walking out, leaving the Colts 49ers game when some of the players were kneeling during the anthem. But what's the pool reporter who travels with the vice president told ahead of time not to head into the stadium, that the vice president would not be at the game for long? And how much did this stop in Indianapolis cost the American taxpayer? ABC's Mary Bruce tonight.
Tonight, the vice president is taking heat for taking this stand as players for the San Francisco 49ers took a knee Sunday to protest racial injustice. Mike Pence staged his own protest against them, abruptly walking out. He immediately tweeted this statement, saying President Trump and I will not dignify any event that disrespects our soldiers, our flag, or our national anthem. But the walkout was not a game-time decision. Reporters traveling with Pence were told to stay behind, informed the VP might not be at the game for long. The president, seemingly eager to prolong this divisive debate, says it was his idea. Tweeting, I asked VP Pence to leave stadium if any players kneeled, disrespecting our country. I am proud of him. But 49ers player Eric Reid says it was all a PR stunt.
He knew our team has had the most players protests. He knew that we were probably going to do it again.
The White House today pushed back.
To call that a political stunt is truly outrageous, egregious, and offensive.
Footing the travel bill for Pence's brief visit, the American taxpayer, to the tune of more than $240,000.
And Mary Bruce with us live tonight. Mary, with so many other headlines, the Las Vegas shootings, North Korea, of course, now the war of words with Senator Corker. The Trump team is aggressively pushing this flag debate tonight.
Yeah, David, the White House seems to relish this fight and wants to keep it going. Tonight, the Trump campaign committee is fundraising off of the vice president's walkout, urging supporters to donate anywhere from $5 to $250 or more. David.
Mary Bruce with us live tonight. Mary, thank you. A major headline from EPA Chief Scott Pruitt in Kentucky today declaring the war on coal is over. Pruitt saying he will repeal President Obama's signature climate policy tomorrow. The 2015 Clean Power Plan aimed to cut power plant carbon emissions by 30% and save 3,600 lives a year. But before its repeal, there will be a public comment period. Next tonight, movie producer Harvey Weinstein fired from the company bearing his name after allegations of sexual misconduct. And tonight, more voices are now speaking out, Meryl Streep and Kate Winslet among them. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
The woman who holds the record for the most Academy Award nominations is now speaking out. Meryl Streep says she had no idea Harvey Weinstein allegedly sexually harassed women for decades, saying not everybody knew. Harvey supported the work fiercely, was exasperating but respectful with me in our working relationship. Streep calls the women who spoke up our heroes, including a reporter who now claims Weinstein accosted her 10 years ago.
He cornered me in this vestibule and leaned in and tried to kiss me, which I immediately rebuffed.
Tonight, star actress Kate Winslet tells Variety magazine the allegations are disgraceful and appalling. Even President Trump is weighing in.
I've known Harvey Weinstein for a long time. I'm not at all surprised to see it.
When confronted about his own lewd comments from last year's Access Hollywood hot mic incident, the president made this distinction.
Well, he says they were inappropriate. That's locker room. That's locker room.
And now new reports that just hours before his firing, Weinstein sent a desperate plea for support to CEOs and movie moguls, which went unanswered. David.
Lindsay Davis, thank you. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Monday. Melania Trump responding tonight, what the First Lady is saying after President Trump's first wife, Ivana, did an interview with our Amy Robach. Melania Trump responding to what was said during that interview. The NFL coach out tonight after video emerges of him and a white powder. And the scare at the airport, a cargo loader igniting right next to a passenger plane. Much more news ahead.
A jet engine that can fix itself. Is that the work of wizards? Yes, technical wizards, who, with the visionary engineers at GE, developed Predix, giving plane engines the ability to self-diagnose problems and alert those who can fix them. And that's no illusion. Magic can't make digital transformation happen, but we can. That's the power of Pivotal, part of Dell Technologies.
Peanuts! Peanuts? You kidding me? This guy's selling peanuts? I used to eat peanuts. I also used to wear diapers. Pistachio is where it's at, right? I mean, who wants to eat a food that starts with P and ends with nuts?
Melania Trump is responding tonight after an interview with President Trump's first wife, Ivana Trump. In that interview, Ivana Trump reveals how often she calls the president, saying she's the first Trump wife, the First Lady. Here's Amy Robach.
The president's first wife and mother of Don Jr., Eric, and Ivanka saying tonight she still has the president's ear. How often do you two talk?
Talk about once in 14 days. I have the direct number to White House, but I don't really want to call him there because Melania is there, and I don't want to cause any kind of jealousy or something like that because I'm basically first Trump wife, okay? I'm first lady, okay?
That comment prompting a spokesperson for Melania Trump to tell ABC there is clearly no substance to this statement from an ex. Unfortunately, only attention-seeking and self-serving noise. A new memoir from the Czechoslovakian-born model, Raising Trump, goes back to the very beginning. You write, I believe the credit for raising such great kids belongs to me. Full credit?
Full credit. Donna was on the telephone making the deals. He was loving father, don't get me wrong, but he was not the father which would take a stroller and go to the Center Park or go and play to baseball with them.
In his first year in office, Ivana says she has given the president advice.
I tell him to just not to speak that much, okay? And tweets are the tweets. And I think I don't disagree with him, because he has so much press against him. So if he says something, his words are going to be twisted immediately.
When you read your book, you are all about kindness and manners. What about the fact that President Trump often uses Twitter to name call?
Well, the people are different. You know, I like the good manners.
But if you heard your children call someone a loser, how would you feel about that?
I think they sometimes call the people losers. If they are losers, okay? And I don't mind it.
And Amy Robach with us here tonight. And Amy, you were also telling us that Ivana Trump says the president offered her the role as ambassador to the Czech Republic.
That's right, and she says she declined because she would lose her freedom. She told me that she would have to say bye-bye to Miami in the winter, bye-bye to New York in the spring and fall, and bye-bye to Saint-Tropez, where I spend all summer long. So she's happy where she is.
All right, Amy Robach tonight. Amy, thanks. That book comes out tomorrow. When we come back tonight, the NFL coach out of a job this evening. Also the scare at the airport, a fire right next to a passenger plane bound for L.A. NFL coach is out of a job tonight after video emerged of him snorting a white powder. Miami Dolphins offensive line coach Chris Foerster resigned today. Foerster, with the NFL for 25 years, says he will seek treatment. A fire forcing the cancellation of an American Airlines flight. The blaze broke out while loading cargo onto an American Airlines Boeing 777 at the Hong Kong airport. The flight bound for Los Angeles, it was canceled. A spokesperson said the cargo was non-hazardous. And the Nobel Prize for Economics goes to American Richard Thaler from the University of Chicago. Known as the father of behavioral economics, he studied how people make economic decisions in irrational but predictable ways.